Welcome to Above the Garage.
Hi, friends. Welcome to our discussion of Season 1, Episode 4 of The Crowded Room. Let's do our round of introductions and dive in.
Hi, I'm Megan.
Hi, I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Kate. Just as a disclaimer, we're kind of limited in what we're allowed to talk about because we got a list of spoilers that we shouldn't discuss from Apple Plus when they gave us the screeners, which we're super appreciative of. So occasionally we have to hold ourselves back from discussing some things that we would really want to throughout the episode out of respect for Apple and the writers of the show. So this episode is entitled London. It was written by Henriette Ashworth, Jessica Ashworth, and Akiva Goldsman. The director was Brady Corbett, and it was quite different from the previous episodes. Wouldn't you guys say?
Yeah, I'd agree. Definitely a different feel.
A fun new setting.
Yeah. Well, now we're in London, so going to change it up a bit. And a shout out, seriously, to the set design in this episode. Like, it was amazing, as usual. It's incredible how much, like, production seems to go in this show. Like,
yeah, and the setting, also just, like, the costumes, everything about the era, like, it's just, I love it. I love that about the show. And it's fun to take it to London. Yeah, they immediately set the stage with, like, the British police.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the episode opens with Danny reminiscing on his childhood, trying to catch the fireflies in his yard at night until the lightning bug abruptly morphs into the gun he was holding at Rockefeller Center, and Ariana is screaming at him again to fucking shoot the guy until the flight attendant snaps him out of his reverie. So he's flying somewhere to see his dad.
It seemed like he was idealizing his memories, chasing the fireflies. It looked kind of like an idyllic setting and then woken from his.
Right. Plus, I've never seen so many fireflies in one spot at one time.
Beautiful.
When we have fireflies, sadly, it's like a handful around the yard.
One random dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen one. Now I'm sad.
You don't have them? Australia doesn't have fireflies?
I don't know. That makes me need to the Googles.
I'll send them your way. I'll whisper in their ears to fly to Perth.
Fireflies are found throughout most of the world, including Australia. Interesting.
Go looking for them, Kimberly.
Oh, maybe you just don't go outside enough.
I've just been unlucky.
You need to go camping.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's not going to happen. So, like, that's probably why I haven't seen a firefly.
I don't do it either. No, I'm not one to camp. But...
They need to come to you.
Yeah, come to me, firefly.
Oh, I like camping. Camping's fun. You guys should give it another try.
Excuse me, but Australia has too many bugs, bro.
Fair.
I like glamping, but not camping. Glamping is fun.
I do a glamp, yeah.
Yeah. All right, fancy people. All right. Have I mentioned I love the opening sequence? I'm pretty sure I have, but I think the paintings are like beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah, the opening credits are awesome. They're done by a design company in Los Angeles by the looks of it called Yuko, spelled Y-U plus symbol Co.
So they do more than one opening sequence. Very cool.
Yeah, it looks like they did like that TV show Shrinking as well. Like so many, if you look on their website.
Oh, cool.
They're amazing by the looks of it.
We should write a show so we can hire them.
Yeah.
Anyway, Danny's in the airport in London with the old school flippy destination board that I like. And he's acting rather suspicious as the police walk by. Well, actually rather suspicious in general, really. He changes his money and Rya's grilling him on why London? Where did he get his passport? How did Yitzhak get one? But Danny just accepts that Yitzhak is basically all powerful and he just does what's needed. Danny uses a payphone to call the Royal London Travel Agency, but nobody's home. And Rya points out what we noted in the last episode, that he hasn't spoken very much about his biological father. We hadn't heard anything before Yitzhak sent him to find him in the last episode. She digs a little and finds out that his dad left around the time Danny was 6, and he didn't know Yitzhak knew his father, but again, he accepts at face value that he did. When she grills him on Ariana and he admits she's gone, she points out that she left him right when he was vulnerable and Yitzhak stepped in right when he needed him again, offering him, apparently, salvation.
His friends they just kind of appear and go away when he needs them to.
Right. Very convenient.
Yeah.
I would love friends like that, to be honest. There when you need them, go away when you don't.
Yeah, you're right.
Her wording in this scene is really interesting. Like she says, right on cue.
Yeah.
It's interesting to think about, the way she's talking with him.
Right. And she's using the same words, throughout the episodes. She's using the same phrases over and over again to like repeat the point that she's trying to make or get through to him, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting, her choice of words. Did you guys notice an old clip of London in the next montage? First, I thought I was like maybe wrong, but it's super grainy. And then they use some in New York towards the end of the episode too. It's cool to see, though it threw me off for a second since everything else is recreated. But back to Danny, he finds the travel agency without trouble. And after a brief rejection from the receptionist, the boss, Jack, comes out, immediately recognizing Danny as his old Yank associate Pete's son, which would be baffling if not for the fact that he is apparently the spitting image of his father. Jack's a very confident and boisterous man, and he hardly even stops in front of a stranger before he's invited Danny for a drink, heading straight through the door with the expectation Danny will follow, and he does. He's visibly stunned, but you can tell he's quite pleased as he thanks the receptionist and hurries out the door to follow his new friend. What do you guys think of the introduction of Jack?
Yay. I was excited to see Jason Isaacs,
Yeah.
aka Lucius Malfoy.
I know, I love him.
He's great.
So great in everything he does.
Very brief side story about Jason Isaacs. He was playing tennis with a friend of mine in San Francisco, and my daughter was really into Harry Potter. We were spending a lot of time at the children's hospital. Anyway, and he sent her the nicest video and was talking about like Dobby, and it was just so cute. So Jason Isaacs is a stellar human being as well.
I love him even more now.
I know. It was so sweet.
That's very cute.
Yeah.
He's looking very dapper, may I say.
He is. I love his outfit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dapper's the word. Yes.
Melissa Toft is amazing as a costume designer for the show, and I think it would be a really fun show to do.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Though I could not possibly design costumes.
I couldn't even imagine though how many I feel like assistants she would have had on this show, especially with like all the background.
So many extras.
Yeah.
In New York and London. I also always wonder what happens to the costumes when the shows are done. Where do they go to die?
They get recycled for other shows, maybe.
I would say they just go back and somebody uses them again in another show.
Yeah.
Right. I hope so. I hope there's a warehouse of costumes like that.
Yeah.
Or many, I guess.
I'd like to visit.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I want to play dress up. Okay. At the bar, Jack breaks the sad news that Danny's daddy is not in London anymore, and he doesn't know where he is. They had some business abroad that didn't go as they'd hoped, and they went their separate ways. Danny explains why he's there, and when he drops his landlord's name, Jack is delighted to find out his old pal Yitzhak Safdie, kept his promise to take care of Pete's son, Danny, if he got back to America first. And it's quite the fairy tale reveal for Danny, how much his dad has cared for him and looked out for him all along. Which is why Rya interrupts him and asks him to consider what he's expecting her to believe. That his father's business associate in London and the man who rented a room to him an ocean away both knew not only his father, but each other. It seems a little too good to be true, she seems to think. But despite her questions, Danny believed him. He tells her he's not saying that what Jack was saying is true, he's just telling her what the man said to him. Back at the bar, Jack's telling another heartwarming tale about Danny's dad stopping a plane on a tarmac in order to make it to Danny's 5th birthday party.
So we didn't really get much of a detail about the work, right? I was so confused. I was like, what do they do? Are they like Mission Impossible rogue people? Are they like...
Yeah.
It did make it sound like something covert, right?
Yeah.
Right.
What
are they doing? Are they in trouble? Are they shady?
Yeah.
Are they spies? I have no idea, but I'm like, what? Do
right.
It just sounded so like
it sounded exciting, but not there's just no detail revealed.
Yeah,
I had read right to like CIA or whatever they are, like something secretive that why we don't know because we can't be told. Covert type of deal.
Yeah, it's painting a very different picture than the dad that left his son when he's 6, a mere year from waving down a plane on a tarmac to make it to his 5th birthday party.
Yeah.
But it's exactly what Danny would want to hear,
Yes.
Or anybody that was missing their parent. Meanwhile, some guys at a nearby table appear to be like aghast at the behavior of Jack and Danny's table, which is odd since Jack's definitely a little over the top with his tone, and I would definitely find his personality annoying in person. But there's nothing he's doing, I don't think, that would draw that much attention from the other tables. Until Danny knocks over his beer anyway, and that's too much for one of the gentlemen at the other table who comes over, calls him a wanker, and instructs him it's time to leave the bar. Jack takes great offense at this and confronts the man at the bar, demanding an apology for his friend from across the pond and eventually even pulling a knife to threaten the man.
It was interesting to me that like you said, like the guys like was so interested in the table. I was like, they're really not doing that much. And then when you see Jack and the other guy where he's pulling a knife on him,
right?
When Jack leaves, like they don't even look back at the table at Danny, which I thought was strange.
Right, he's just looking at Jack.
Yeah, the whole scenario seemed like out of place. How he became like what Danny needed him to be. He like stood up, took out a knife, made him apologize.
Yeah, Jack especially.
Great dude. Willing to assault somebody for him.
Right. And tell him these tales of his dad and, all these things that are kind of perfect for Danny.
Mm-hmm.
What he wants.
Yeah.
Back with Rya, once again, she just doesn't understand what even is the truth that Danny believes that he's getting at right now. And Danny tells her that he believes that the men did know each other and have a plan. It just wasn't to protect Danny. Nobody's ever out to protect him. So that's strange right after he did protect him, but that is the reveal there. She's trying to get into his mind to understand like what it is that he's trying to sell her right now, what he thinks actually was going on here, because it's not quite clear.
Yeah. So I do wonder like what does he think that is? Like he thinks it's like some kind of conspiracy or like a coincidence, like he's not there to protect him, then what are they all doing there?
Like he's a victim.
Yeah. So I guess this is where the tale kind of takes a turn, right? And heads towards
like he can't trust people, even if they appear to be trustworthy at first. He can't trust them.
Right.
Everybody's out to get him now.
So back in London, they set off on their mission, whatever that is. They begin with a jaunt through a seedy section of London, talk some shit to a presumable sex worker, and then Jack sets his eyes on a man getting in the back of a Rolls Royce, and the guy eyes him back. Clue number 1. It's notable to Danny, too, before Jack drops him off to sleep at the Windsor Arms Hotel and then calls Yitzhak from a payphone. And now we learn that this is some kind of scam. Yitzhak and Jack have teamed up to run on Danny. But back in the interrogation, Rya asked Danny the obvious question, how could you possibly know who Jack was calling from the phone booth if you're just watching from inside the hotel?
Mm-hmm.
And he scrambles for an explanation. He'd had a lot to drink. Maybe Jack told him the next day. It's all a bit of a blur.
Yeah, that's one of those things where, like in the other episode where he doesn't remember like inviting Annabelle over in the morning. You remember that? Like where he doesn't, he's not remembering like how he knows things or like what's been happening.
No, it's like he's telling a story.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's what's unclear to me is like the degree to which he believes the story that he's making up or he's spinning it for her,
Right. But she seems to like being, catching on to that. Like, like things are making sense.
Right. She knows that.
Yeah. Right. She's like, huh?
I love the when they're walking down that alley with the lights and just the atmosphere. It kind of made me feel like I was in London, like back in the day. Like they're really good at this show. I feel like really putting you into it with the set.
Yeah. It's really enjoyable. I agree watching it. And now the note Rya found in the house an episode or two ago is explained. Jack's left a note for Danny to meet for fish and chips with him at noon. Danny panics because he overslept, but runs through London and makes it to the shop right on time. Jack tips the waitress extravagantly, it seems, before they head out to take another walk around the city. Jack's advising Danny on his lack of confidence as they walk by a couple more police officers, and Danny once again conspicuously hides his face as they walk by, causing Jack to ask him exactly how bad the trouble he's in is. And at this point in the interrogation, she's kind to Danny. She tells him she can see why he trusted Jack, and once again uses the phrase, he was everything you needed in that moment. Just like Yitzhak, she points out, and Ariana. And Danny finally asks her what she's getting at. Do you think that I'm the one pulling the strings? And when she answers him honestly and asks, well, what if I do? He gets the angriest we've seen him yet and yells, I'm not. Reverting back to his quieter tone, he tells her he just needed someone to help him.
Yes. First of all, those fish and chips look fucking great.
Yes, I love
I know. I love that they're actually served in newspaper.
I know. It makes me think that, like, does the newspaper, like, rub off onto the fish and chips?
Yeah, exactly. The ink would be all over it. You'd be eating so much ink, but...
Yeah, but they looked really good.
I think that's a thing that they used to do, at least.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind a jaunt through London.
So just quick question. He went to London after the shooting?
Yes,
that day.
And then he came back, and that's when he got arrested.
Got you. Okay.
So my only notes for this one was obviously the fish and chip note ends up being in the house when Rya's searching the house.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think there was a passport in the fireplace when Rya's searching the house. There is, like, the notebook he burned is there, but I don't remember seeing a passport. And obviously she would have pulled it out if there was.
Yeah,
so,
I don't remember seeing them, with the passport or anything else in the fire.
Right, even though his memory is that he burned the passport with the book. So
yeah. The line that struck me the most, actually, when he was talking with Rya was when Danny said that they're all in this together.
Right.
It made me think a little bit just about how Rya's questioning him and his answers.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite the grand conspiracy he's coming up with and believing.
Right.
Yeah, how he's like, they roped in Ariana later on to use to get close to him and things like that.
Right. Back in London at tea, Jack's selling Danny on a con job that if he plays his cards right, he can collect £3,000 owed to his father by the man in the Rolls Royce, Reggie in the Rolls Royce, who luckily is a family man. So probably, Jack thinks, if Danny just rolls up and asks for the £6,000, oh, that's right, Jack's taking a whole half. Anyway, if he just rolls up and demands it, being a family man and all, this guy, Reggie, probably just going to hand it right over to him. No dramas, to use a Kimberly phrase.
Mm-hmm. Ha ha ha. Sorry, I was eating popcorn.
You're always eating popcorn.
That was a very good one. I like that.
The American version of that is no worries. I'm sure you're aware, but no dramas works better here.
Well, I say no worries as well, but yeah, no dramas. It's just like,
yeah.
I didn't realize that was not universal, but
yeah, that's what I was wondering if you realize that or not. Most of your phrases are not universal, and I love them for that.
Have you heard the one where I'm not here to fuck spiders?
Yeah, you said that once like a year or more ago, and
yeah,
no, that is the only time that I've ever heard it to this day.
That was new to me, probably like 4 or 5 years ago. That was a new Aussie one to me. I was like, I haven't actually heard that before.
I love it all.
In what context would you say that?
So, like,
give us an example.
If you say, like, say if we're at an ice cream shop, right, and you say, do you want some ice cream? I'd be like, yeah, bro, I'm not here to fuck spiders.
Like, of course.
Yeah.
All right, I got it.
What do you think I'm supposed to be doing here?
What do you think I'm here in the ice cream store for?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I can now work that into my lexicon. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. I expect to hear both of you saying that by the end.
You definitely will. All right. And Danny thinks that sounds like a good plan. He's in. Back in the seedy alley, Jack gives him a quick pep talk and sends him into the club alone to demand his fucking money. Jack does at least promise to wait here in the alley for Danny, though. And inside the club, Reggie tells him to piss off. But after he tells him he was sent by a man named Jack, whose last name he doesn't even know, the man seems to take pity on him for a moment and lets the kid tell his story. And Reggie genuinely seems to have no idea who these people Danny are referencing are or what any of this is about. And by the end, Reggie is not impressed and tells his men to proceed with removing Danny from the premises. Did you guys see that moment? Did you think that he took pity on him for a minute?
Kind of.
Yeah, I think for a little moment.
Mm-hmm.
Very little moment. Very short-lived. But yeah, because he clearly was just like, the kid was like grasping at straws. Yeah.
This scene and like what's coming next is very telling.
Yeah, outside, Jack's gone, nowhere to be found. Danny calls the travel agency, then he retraces all of their steps. He walks to the bar where they got drinks. And the bartender there kicks him out immediately, like he remembers him from last night, because he immediately threatens to call the police. He's not.
Right.
It's an extreme reaction, I thought.
Especially since he was the one just drinking on the table. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, he didn't do anything. Then he goes back to the fish shop, gets kicked out of there too. He hasn't made a whole lot of friends in his short stay in London. The hotel front desk guy tells him to fuck off next, so he goes up to his room and starts tearing shit up, generally just spiraling until Jack appears again in the doorway.
What was he tearing up, by the way?
It was like a London tour book, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, he's like, fuck this, London. No one likes me here. I'm ripping this shit.
Yeah. London sucks. I'm going somewhere new tomorrow. Yeah, Jack's given up on the con rather easily and tells Danny that this was just a lesson in courage, a lesson Danny sorely needed. Mm-hmm. Now he should go home and face the music for his crime at Rockefeller. Be the man his father never was. And so he does. Danny hails a cab and flies back home where Ariana and Yitzhak were nowhere to be found. And he also tells Rya that this was the last time that he saw Jack.
I love the acting in this scene, though, with both Jason and Tom. Like, I'm actually really impressed by Tom in this show.
Yeah, he's great.
Obviously, I think he's great as Spider-Man. I've seen him in a few other things, but I think he's doing a really good job at taking me away from Spider-Man. You know how you see, like, you watch actors.
Yeah, you get stuck.
Who are like in iconic roles, and you get stuck with them as like that character.
Right.
But yeah.
No, he's doing great.
He's doing amazing.
And he's really using his facial acting. And I think that's something we all appreciate.
Yeah.
Is like how you can just feel his emotions and his angst and just you almost like the circling that's going on in his head, you know.
Yeah.
You can see it. He portrays it so well just without saying anything. You're like,
I agree.
Yeah.
I love that.
Better than your average actor.
Great acting. And you don't see that in Spider-Man.
No.
He doesn't have to do that in Spider-Man, you know.
Yeah.
It's like what's said in between the lines, he's nailing it so well.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Like just with his emotions.
I like these two together, and unfortunately I don't know if we'll be able to see them again. I don't know. I haven't seen the episodes past this point yet, but
yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I like them. I like them together.
Yeah, me too. Once Danny's home, he just kind of hangs around the house until he goes downstairs, burns the passport, and then throws his drawings on top. While they're burning, we start to hear sirens, and then he hears the police megaphones telling him to come out with his hands up, and he does. He allows himself to be arrested without a fight. And Rya asks again about Yitzhak and Ariana. Why would they have just up and left everything they owned behind?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, if she was really the shooter at Rockefeller Center, I think that actually makes sense, Rya. I would have considered that option as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The score and the sound in this scene was amazing, like the crackling of the fire. And the score's been great, but this was really noticeable for me. I really wish they would just say who picked the songs though.
I agree.
Yeah, they really should get credit.
Just say song picker.
Yeah, because they're good.
Well, it can make or break a scene.
Yeah. On the note of sound, though, I've noticed a few, like the walking on broken glass and stuff, like sound effects that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I should have mentioned in previous episodes.
The score is by Trevor Gurekis. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but yeah, it's been very noticeable.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
So when Rya asks him about Yitzhak and Ariana, Danny pulls his chair over beside Rya, like very dramatically and maybe a little threateningly, and asks if she really thinks that he killed them both. He wouldn't. He loved them. And she points out he's talking about them in the past tense, which is brave of her. And I think he realizes that was a mistake, but just says the tense doesn't matter. She's gone. Danny tells Rya he knows that she thinks he killed them for revenge for sending them to Jack. But why would anyone do that? Move to the neighborhood, spend 3 years getting close to him for just 3,000 pounds. It doesn't make any sense. No, she agrees, it doesn't. Unless it wasn't just for 3,000 pounds, he says, unless there's more at stake. Just when we think we know everything, the plot thickens again.
It does.
It's interesting the way it was presented too, because like she finally tthinks he's getting it, you know? She finally thinks he's admitting that this is
a story.
Conspiracy, you know, this conspiracy is not making sense. So but he's not. He's just about to add more layers to it, it seems.
Yeah.
And as she's wont to do, Rya switches to Adam now. What happened to Adam? Finally, he tells us that Adam died. But when she asks how, that's a bridge too far, and he announces he's done and leaves.
Yeah. See, I've been thinking a bit about Adam, and it's interesting that she could find out how he died.
Yeah.
Like, she's a profiler, she's with the police.
Yeah.
They could easily look up.
Right, she must know.
She must know. I mean, she knows his first and last name, Adam Sullivan, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she could dig back, you know.
Unless he just disappeared.
Yeah, that is.
Like went missing, but
that is also an option.
Otherwise, yeah, she knows or should know the answer to that question, but she wants to hear it from him. I'd like to hear it from him too. Back at her home, Rya's flipping through the drawings to the page of Jack now. That's a really good drawing, by the way. And then there's the other montage with an old film clip while she's walking back through New York into the interrogation room. Obviously, something unexpected is going to happen, considering how focused we are on this walk. And it does. Finally, we have a new witness. Jack has flown in from London, apparently, to assist Rya with her Danny case. And she seems surprised when she walks in, but only for a beat. And then she goes with the flow and reveals that she's actually talked to Jack before today. And she tells Jack that she thinks it's time they tell Danny the truth, to which Jack responds that he believes that is an absolutely catastrophic idea. And that is the end of the episode.
I love that last scene when you see him sitting in there. Like, I was just like, oh, I actually did not expect that.
Yeah.
We finally have one to show up.
A witness, yeah.
I wonder who else she's spoken to. I really like the music in the scene. Like, I thought it was perfect, like with Rya walking, like the beat of her step.
Yeah.
That was good.
It was great. And then the reveal that, obviously Jack sitting
right
in the seat there. I was like, oh, okay. Interesting.
I'm looking forward to the next episode to watch her discussion with Jack. If we get to see that, I think that would be his version of events would be interesting.
Yeah, because it was so ambiguous about what they did.
I would love to know what they think they have to keep from him or what he thinks that he should know yet.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think that's a wrap on our discussion of season 1, episode 4 of The Crowded Room. Come back next Friday for our discussion of episode 5. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.